Hi friends, welcome to Harmony Hills Home and Garden. I'm Jenny and we're gardening here in Baltimore, Maryland, Zone 7, where it is the epicenter, it feels like, of Brood X 17-year cicadas. They started emerging last week on the weekend. We have thousands, it feels like millions of them here in our backyard, in our front yard, and all around our neighborhood. And they are here and getting ready to really wreak havoc on our plants, young trees, young shrubs. So let's talk about cicadas and how you as a gardener can protect yourself from damage from these bugs. So scientists don't really know why we have these 17-year cicada cycles. There are 17 different cycles. Brood X is actually Brood 10 in Roman numerals. And so every 17 years, Brood X emerges from the ground where they've lived underground sucking on tree roots for 17 years. They shed their coat of their nymph stage skins. Then they spend a little bit of time basking in the sun, drying off their wings, kind of like a butterfly, and hardening up their shells. And then they start to climb, and they climb up anything they can find, including your leg, furniture, shrubs, trees, fences, everything. They're climbing and climbing, and their instinct is to go to the top of the tallest tree. And then about 5 days or so after they emerge, the males go up in the trees and they start vibrating, and they make this racket of a noise that is, according to what I read, it can be 85 to 90 decibels or more in your yard of this noise. And that's about equivalent to the passing sound of a motorcycle or a hairdryer, or even as close as much as a jet engine. And so prolonged exposure to that kind of a noise can be damaging to your ears. So if you find yourself outside a lot while the cicadas are vibrating and making that noise, you may wish to wear some ear protection, or go inside and close the doors and windows so you can't hear them as much. But so they'll vibrate, the males will vibrate and make that big noise, and that is their mating call. And they're hoping that the females will come and choose them as their mate. So then the females are also up in these trees, and they are looking for the best male to make babies with. So they find their favorite guy, they get impregnated, and then the females come back down, or not. Sometimes they stay in the high limbs of a trees, but sometimes they also find themselves on young shrubs or young trees or the tips of a mature tree. What they're looking for is a stem that is new growth, or just last year's growth, something small, something about the size of a pencil or so. And what they do is they cut a slit along that stem and they implant their eggs into the stem of the tree, about 500 eggs per cicada. And so then all of your trees will have the tips of the mature trees, but sometimes the whole branch of a young tree or shrub will have these eggs implanted into them. Then those eggs hatch, they are nymphs, they fall to the ground, they bury themselves in the ground, they go underground, and then 17 years later, they emerge and restart the cycle all over again. So it's a fascinating, kind of gross fact of nature here in the United States, North America. They tend to be in the northeastern part of the United States. The range for Brood X is roughly Illinois over through Indiana, across Ohio. Not so much in the Appalachian area, but then back into Maryland. We have them here in central Maryland, up into Pennsylvania, and down into northern Virginia a little bit. Some estimates say there will be 1 million of these cicadas per acre this year, because it's anticipated to be this huge, huge brood. Well, we've been finding cicadas underground all spring. Every time we dig a shovel, we find at least one, often 10, 20 cicadas in a shovel. So, but Saturday, today is Tuesday, and last Saturday, 3 days ago, they started emerging. We woke up Saturday morning and we had thousands of cicadas already emerged in our garden. They were covering our hostas, our other low-growing plants. They had emerged from underground overnight, and they had slowly made themselves took themselves out of their nymph shells, and then they were sunning themselves on Saturday morning. Since then, every night we've had thousands more emerging, and it is getting really overwhelming with how many cicadas are in our yard. We've got nymph dead nymph shells all over our mulch, under certain plants, under certain trees. It's really gross. And yeah, it's happening. We're here. And I anticipate by about Thursday or Friday, we'll start to hear the noise of the males up in the trees. Okay, so what's the problem? Why do we care about our gardens and these cicadas? Well, the mature trees in your yard, they're going to be fine because they have so much leaf canopy, so many branches. The damage that the females do by laying their eggs into the branch tips, the tree can withstand that. But if you have a young tree, less than, say, 5 years old, or shrubs that have about pencil-sized branches, those are very vulnerable to permanent disfiguration. Also, we don't really talk about it as much as we talk about the laying of the eggs in the trees, but the males and the females both need to eat while they're out here, these 4 to 6 weeks that they're around. And so what they do is they suck on the sap of those branches. Also, they're still looking for that young new growth. They're looking for the small, flexible branches, and they suck into that and eat the sap as their main food source. And so both males and females can damage your small shrubs and young trees as they are eating to survive until they get their life cycle completed. What we want to do is protect our youngest trees and our beautiful shrubs from having cicadas on them. And really the only way to do that is to cover them with some kind of netting. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing how I am covering some of my young trees and shrubs to protect them from cicadas. Throughout this video, you'll be seeing lots of images of these cicadas. And if you don't like them, you might want to close your eyes. They're really gross. Got my mallet, I got my rebar, and I have my PVC. And so here we go. Let's put this up near our tree. Okay, I just need to check and make sure that my PVC pipe is tall enough to be taller than the tree by about a foot. So yes, we definitely have that. Okay. Okay, now the rebar is in there. Now all I have to do is lift this PVC pipe up over it and then slide it down just like that. And that pipe is not going anywhere. And so now I have a nice tall middle pole for my netting to be on top of without crushing the top of the tree. Next, I'm going to, I don't want to just put my netting up on top of that pole because I'm afraid that it would rip the netting. So I'm actually just going to put a little plant pot over the top of my pole, and this will protect the netting from getting too torn up. You could also use a water bottle that you cut up, or you could use, I don't know, a plastic butter dish that you have left over, anything like that. Just something to protect your net from whatever pole or limb or whatever thing you're using to hold it up. So just protect it from breaking. Okay, now the trick is I've got to get this netting up on there and have it be kind of a canopy. So how am I going to do that by myself? Don't laugh too hard at what you're going to get ready to see. This material feels an awful lot like bridal veil tulle, but it is actually quite a bit stronger than that. It's much more plasticky, nylon-y. It feels a lot like window screening, actually. I'm going to use some binder clips to hold this in the center while I'm working. I have quite a collection of different styles of clips here. So I got big binder, one big one, a couple of medium ones, a bajillion small ones, and I have some of these crafty clothespins. So not sure what's going to be best. I'm totally making this up as I go along, friends. I saw on the Maryland Master Gardeners YouTube channel a couple of weeks ago, they were showing me how to generally how to put up this tent pole, kind of an idea. But as far as how to actually do it, kind of making it up. Alrighty. Well, it's looking very much like a Halloween ghost. Okay, so I am debating whether I need a few more of these PVC poles because, I mean, I don't have a leader that's getting bent, but I do have side branches that are getting bent. So I'm wondering if I should get at least 2 more, maybe 3 more setups with the PVC and rebar and make it more of a lollipop, because I don't want these branches to be irreparably bent throughout the next month. Well, I forgot that I was using 2 of my rebar pieces on my tomato cages this year. So I have 2 rebars and 1 plant stake and 3 more PVC poles. So I'm hoping that this will be strong enough to hold up the pole. Okay. This is one of the strangest projects I've ever done in my life. You can see my netting has slid, my cup at the top and the clips that were holding it on failed. Anyway, I think I just need to pull it up and over the top, and then I'm really close to having this where I want it. The good news is I can verify there are no cicadas up here, because that's one thing you definitely need to do before you close up your netting, is make sure you're not enclosing any cicadas inside there. All right. I have neighbors down on the street laughing at me. Who's going to be laughing when their trees are dead and mine aren't? Okay, now let's see if we can use these clips to get this thing to stay over the branches. I need a 4th pole. I do. I need a 4th pole. Really, a 5th pole. I need 1 in the center and 4 around. I still need to fill it up here. Okay, and then it's going to end up looking a little wedding-y. I need to get this all the way over to the trunk. So I need to take this one off. I need to get this over to the trunk and fasten it around the trunk so that the bugs can't come up the trunk that way. This is one of the strangest gardening projects I have ever done. Okay, let me close up that other side. You want to come around with me? Yeah, let's go. So yeah, if you're doing this project at home and you feel a little bit like you're dressing a bride, I totally get it. I'm gonna make it such a poofy ball that if a little thing gets in there, he'll get caught and he'll die in his vain attempt to escape. That's what we're gonna do. Oh my, what a strange project. Let's stand back. It's something. I have covered my tree. I don't think cicadas will be able to get in here. Oh wait, I still have to close up these holes here. All right, and I think the other side too. Let's go see. Yeah, up at the top I still have to close up those holes. All right, but otherwise I don't think they'll be able to climb through here. This is a big wad. I don't think they'll be able to climb through there. I got it closed up around the pole here. I don't think they'll get through there. And then under here also, this is tight against the pole. So yeah, I think once I close up those side seams, one up there and one on the other side, I think it'll be bug tight. And it'll just have to look like this for, gosh, 4 to 6 weeks. What a mess. Ugh. All right, so I have this tree fully enclosed in netting. It is not pretty at all. In fact, it's really an eyesore. But I don't know a better way to do it to keep the cicadas off of my tree. This tree is so beautiful in the spring. It's a beautiful redbud. It's only, I think, 3 years old. This was its third spring, and it is prime cicada egg laying nesting area because of its young, tender, thin branches. So I definitely want to protect this. I definitely also want to protect my Cherokee Princess dogwood. I don't have any more netting right now. I'm going to have to go purchase some more. I also don't have any more tall poles, and so that'll be tricky to see how we're going to do that. Might have to go buy some 8-foot poles. This, I'm worried about it for wind. I'm not sure what's going to happen if a windstorm comes through, so we're just going to hope for no windstorms in the next 4 to 6 weeks. I think that's a lot to ask in the spring. We're just going to find out. We have had a lot of windy days in the past month. We just have to hope that we don't get any more of those this spring. Here's our lovely arbor. This tree here is going to get the same treatment. We're just going to have these 2 white ghost trees in our backyard for a month. I did the best I could with protecting the branches from being weighed down too much. I've got 4 side poles and 1 center pole in there. The branches are still being dragged down a little bit, but hopefully not too bad. The leader, the center of the tree, is protected. It's not being weighted down, so that's good. Also, I have covered up all potential entry areas into that tent. So if a cicada gets in there, she deserves to be able to lay her eggs in there because she is tenacious.
There's one up there at the top.
Thinking is we'll just go up and over it. You on that side, me on this side. So, now we look right in here and we say, hi!
Hi!
Let's look at our bug screen now. So, alright, so for this dogwood tree, I am using a pond netting, and it has squares that are about maybe a ½ inch, maybe. I don't know exactly what the netting size is, but it's sold as a pond netting, and it's intended to keep birds away from the fish in your pond. And it's lightweight, much lighter weight than the white insect netting over there on the redbud tree. So this one actually isn't pulling down on the top of the tree at all. It's really quite light. And so we've got it on here. We used a piece of it that's 7 feet wide by 14 feet long. The piece that I had was 14 feet square, so we cut that in half. So we just 7 feet long, we just went up and over and down the other side, and then using binder clips to clip it together and close up all the holes so that the cicadas can't get up in there. Also, by the way, very important, we made sure that all the cicadas were off of the tree before we encased it in this netting. That's really important. Yeah, we're making progress. The cicadas, man, they are out. They came out last night and they are gross. From a distance, it looks a little bit like there's a swarm of black gnats around this tree. But I do think that it looks nicer than the ghost tree. but both of them are protected now from damage from the cicadas, so I'm happy about that. So I ran out of the insect netting that I purchased. I used all of that on the redbud tree. And then I used pond netting on the dogwood tree and on 2 holly trees. And so I didn't have any more material, so I went to the fabric store and I bought some by the yard tulle fabric. I got some in brown and I got some in ivory. I ended up with 15 yards of tulle, and I'm using the tulle to cover smaller shrubs that I just put in this year and some of the ones that I've put in the last couple of years. I really want to protect my investment, and I'm prioritizing those shrubs which are the most expensive or the ones that are only available in limited numbers. For example, my 2 camellias that I planted this year, you can't find those every time you go to the nursery, and so I'm protecting my camellias. I'm protecting my Osmanthus fragrans, or my fragrant tea olives, because those are trees that I don't see in the nurseries around here. I had to mail order those, and so I really don't want to have to do that again. And I'm putting them over my boxwoods because boxwoods are expensive and I don't want to lose a single one of my boxwoods. So I'm going to put this tulle around as many plants as I have material for, and then I will show you how it all looks in the end. Here's one of my shrubs. This is camellia, and I have covered it with the brown tulle, and not a moment too soon because this guy decided he wanted to climb on it. So I'm very glad that this is protected now. I've got my Osmanthus fragrans protected and the Pieris japonica as well, all in the brown tulle. So I have used up all of my materials. I had 5 yards of 72-inch wide ivory colored tulle, and I had 10 yards of, what was it, probably 50-inch wide brown tulle. And I've used it all up, and now our yard looks like a Halloween landscape with cobwebs or ghost characters all over it. Over here on this fence, there are 2 that are covered with brown, 1 that's got white, and then these 2 hollies have the black bird netting, rather pond netting. Of course, the pond netting disappears the most. The brown and the white you can see. I put the snowball viburnum under some cover, and the dogwood is under pond netting. I covered up the Rosa Sharon, and up this way we've got the 3 brown covered shrubs here, and then up the way we've got more. There's a boxwood, there's a Daphne, there's a boxwood, there's a boxwood, here's a boxwood, and here's a boxwood. I ran out of material, didn't have enough to do this one, and there's a couple down by the arbor that I didn't have enough material to do. So the yard looks really kind of dumpy with all of this stuff covered up, but it's so necessary because of the damage that these bugs can do to our brand new plants. I decided not to prioritize these shrubs here because these are readily available anywhere I go, any garden center. And same thing with the limelight hydrangea. It's readily available everywhere, so it's not very rare, and so I decided to use my materials on things that are more expensive or harder to find. So for example, this boxwood here, boxwoods are just, they're not terribly expensive, but they can be hard to find, and Here's a silver princess, I think, euonymus, and I ran out of material before I got this one done. So there are some exposed things. Hopefully they'll be all right. Thank you for joining me here today at Harmony Hills Home and Garden. I hope that if you have cicadas where you live this season, that you're able to get them covered, get your plants covered, and protect your plants from the cicada damage. Again, the mature trees, they're going to be fine, but the new stuff, it really does want to be protected so that you can be sure that your investment is not wasted. So good luck to you. Let me know if you have cicadas where you are. You know, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that the damage here is minimized. It's going to be kind of a freaky next 4 to 6 weeks with all these millions of bugs around. We've found hundreds of them in our yard this morning, and just really not looking forward to the next month. But it is what it is. It's part of nature. So, hi, I'm back. I thought the video was done, but no. I found some problems with my cicada shrub covers, so I wanted to share with you what's going on. It's a couple of days later. I put all the I put the netting on this tree on a Thursday or a Friday, I think a Thursday, and then I put it on the shrubs on a Saturday, and today's Monday, and let me show you what's happening on some of these shrubs. Here I am on the Dragon Lady Holly, and I had used some pond netting, and we wrapped this around it, and we kind of double layered it, and also down at the trunk area, I thought I did a good job of wrapping the netting right around tight on the trunk so that there wouldn't be any open areas up underneath there. But you might be able to see that we have several cicadas that actually emerged out of the ground and found their way up inside this netting. So I must not have done a good job of covering the underside of this shrub. And so now they emerged underground, they came out of their shells, and now they are actually inside the netting in quite a few spaces, just sitting. They climbed to the top and they're looking for a treetop to be up in, and now I've got like this congregation of like, I don't know, 15 cicadas sitting in the inside top of this netting. So I'm gonna have to take the netting off, set them all free, or I could kill them, but that's kind of mean, I guess. But get them out of the netting because they emerged underground up into the tree inside the netting. So I'm gonna have to go around and inspect every single shrub that I wrapped and make sure that I don't have this same problem. And then I'm gonna try to make sure that the ground level is wrapped tightly around the trunk on all of the wrappings. Otherwise, I'm just going to get more cicadas up inside the netting like I have here. And so if all the problem was that they lay their eggs in the tree after they mate, then I wouldn't really worry about it. I would just let these cicadas stay inside the netting and just never get to mate. Except maybe they would mate with each other in there. Maybe they'd have a little party in there. I don't know, but anyway, but they do also eat the sap of young trees and shrubs as their primary food source before, during, and after mating. So it's not just the threat of the laying of the eggs that is the problem. It's also the threat of them using the branches as a as a food source for sap. So I do need to get them out of there because they will damage that tree if they stay in there their whole life cycle. These bugs are like some of the weirdest creations on earth. I really don't understand evolutionarily why we have these bugs, but we do. I mean, I have been calling them ugly and gross and nasty and creepy and stuff, but I mean, they kind of are, but they are also kind of just the way they are, so yeah. Ugh, yuck. All right, so let me see if I can open this up and let some of them out without being too creeped out. Sorry about the handheld camera being so wonky. Go around the other side and pull it off. Go free, go free. Get off of there. There they go. Some of them anyway got away. We still have some here who don't exactly know what's going on yet. All right, go away. Go. Be free. You too. Get out of there. Come on, guys. Get out of there. I don't want you in my tree. Ugh. So gross. Ugh. Yuck. I mean, they won't hurt you. They're totally not harmful to humans. They're only harmful to plants. Oh, God. So gross. All right, well, I still have some that are... There it goes. Where'd you go? There you are. You gonna make it to the top of the leaf? Then what are you gonna do? There you go, I helped you. Oh, you fell back down. You're not the smartest bug ever. All right, so there's that one. And then there's all these dead carcasses that they leave behind when they emerge from their nymph stage. And then I still have some live little guys in this tree. They're probably drying their wings. They emerge from their nymph cases and they have to let their wings dry and their thorax has to harden before they really want to be too active. Kind of like butterflies in that regard, but that's pretty much where the resemblance to butterflies quits, in my opinion. So, yeah. All right, so I am gonna have to check on all of my shrubs that I've covered and set free any of the cicadas that emerged into this. Ooh, there's one on my foot. Oh, God. Yuck. Creepy. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go around and I have to check all of my shrubs and do a better job of guarding underneath where the ground is and the trunk and make sure that they can't get in from there. So that's a job. Ugh. Anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video though. I can't think of anything else that I'm going to have to say about cicadas. And if something else comes up about them, I will make a new video. So if you have or you're anticipating having cicadas in your area, hopefully something about what I've showed you has been helpful to you, even if it's just your warning to make sure that you're wrapping the trunks of your shrubs and trees really well and trying to get every possible entry point into your shrub covered off so that they can't get in there. So anyway, I'm gonna go play with cicadas for a little while, and I hope you have a wonderful day, friends. I hope that you don't have any bugs in your garden that you don't like, but if you do, I hope that you're able to take care of them without being too creeped out. All right, have a good day, friends. I'll see you later. Bye.